Well, hello everybody, it's Suffolk Andy here
Suffolk Amy!
and we're going to do...
We're going to do a Q&A today. We are. We've compiled some of your questions, some general queries about the paranormal. I'm just going to sit here and go through them in front of our green screen!
You should have told them that,
We're gonna
because
need
they'd have thought we were going to
green
be in some sort of...
We're not really in a hot air balloon right now. Okay, this is not real. We're not actually in one. But we could be in a desert.
Graveyard,
Graveyard.
forest, or aquarium.
Aquarium.
Yeah, so let's get on with the questions then, Amy. Question number 1.
What are shadow people? Why are they here? Who are they? What do they do?
That's quite a tricky one for me, actually, shadow people. Let's explain what shadow people are. They can be, you know, when you get a person sort of in your mind, peripheral
vision.
peripheral vision, and you go, whoa, what's that? That, and you think, oh, there's nothing there. That could be classed as a shadow person. But what's happening is a lot of people are filming or catching on video dark entities. Now, they're always portrayed as evil. You know what I mean? Yeah. The darker, the more evil. And you sometimes think to yourself, well, I'm in a dark environment, you know, but something's even darker than dark.
Yeah.
You know, and you see them moving across or doing something. And like I say, they're always classed as evil. I personally think they probably are. I really do. Because they're not like seeing a translucent ghost or anything like that. They are dark energy. And I think that they are evil. But you can still see shadow people during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that would, I find, more disturbing than seeing them at night, really, because what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on these beings, but I do believe they exist. I do believe they're probably evil or bad. Bad is what I'm saying. So that's all I can say on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you got a shadow person, just keep an eye on them. Figure out where they're going. I think a lot of the times it's easier to catch shadows in video, but then also sometimes you can see actual shadows and be like, oh, it was a ghost, and then it's just someone walking across a light somewhere. So it's a bit of a difficult one, that one. But when you see like a shadow going across a doorway real quick, you're like, tis a ghost.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Right, we swiftly move on to question number 2.
Right. This one's just generally inquiring about dolls or haunted objects, so spiritual attachments to things, but specifically creepy horror movie style dolls. So.
Dolls don't bother me that much. It's clowns in my case. I hate clowns, but it doesn't matter. The whole thing is not so much dolls, it's about objects. Now, some spirits can be attached to an object. So you could have an object, say you're going into an old antique store and you see this box or this old clock, Victorian clock or something like that, and you think, oh, I like that, I'm going to have that, and you buy it and you take it home, and it has got an attachment of a spirit. That spirit can then manifest itself in your house. So you've got to be careful. I'm not saying that everything out there, every doll, every clock, everything has got an attachment. It's probably 1% if you're even that. So it's not a thing to worry about. I don't want you to start going, I'm never going into an antique shop again because I might get a spiritual attachment from a clock. You know, no, it's none of that. But just be aware. And also, you can find that when you go to somebody's house who are having a bit of a haunting, it can be a piece of furniture or something else, a picture, and it might not even be related to them in the slightest. They've bought it in, or somebody gave it to them, and that can cause a haunting in their house. So I'm not saying don't ever accept anything from anybody, don't buy anything from an antique shop or anything like that, but just be aware that sometimes that object has to be taken out of the house,
Yeah.
and then you should be fine. Okay?
Yeah. There is also a little workaround. When you buy things that someone else has previously owned, or even just when you buy stuff in general, if you want to, just give it a bit of a cleansing. If you want to, just tell the object you don't want any negativity or anything like that, and get your incense or your sage out and just go to town, really. Anything that you bring home.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
especially if it's second hand or,
Yeah,
or
very
like
old.
more than 100 years old, I'd say.
Yeah.
Definitely do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, okay. Right, we're going to move on to question number 3, Amy.
Right, so that is concerning how energies and vibrations work in the sort of spiritual realm and between people. How does that even work?
Well, that's a very, very big subject. You could do a 2-hour long video on that. Right. Everything in spirit is energy. Everything in life is energy. And all energy goes on a wavelength.
Yep.
Okay? So it's all on a wavelength. So when you're speaking to spirit, even when you're doing it clairvoyantly or whatever, it's all a wavelength and it's all coming through. Even in the spirit world, a ghost would be energy. Exactly the same as you, or exactly the same as me. It's energy. And it's a vibration. You can also have things from the past still vibrating energy from that situation. You know, when you go to a battlefield and you actually think, oh, you know, I can feel something here. That's that energy still vibrating. It's still there. It's vibrating energy. And you can see that in loads of places. When you go into a house and you think, oh, this is haunted or something, it's energy. Energy coming from that spirit, or energy resonating off the walls even. It's all to do with energy. It's a massive subject. We can't go into it all on this little video, but yeah, it's complicated.
It is a lot. Because I think especially it's relevant to right now, because I think at the moment just the entire world is vibrating quite low. It's very, everyone's quite sort of at the moment. So, I don't know, just if you're aware of it, try and keep it as high as possible, because high vibration is positive, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing that you want to do is keep away from low vibration, which is, you know, that time when you sort of meet somebody and you're full of energy, you're high up, and that person starts talking to you and they unload all their crap on you, and you see yourself going from there to there very quickly, because they've sucked that good energy out of you and filled you with negative energy on a negative scale. So if you can, if you meet somebody and they start giving you loads of negativity, try and put a barrier up between yourself. If you can imagine a barrier like plexiglass, what we've got now with all this virus stuff, just put a plexiglass up in front of you in your mind's eye and keep it up there, and that might deflect a lot of that negativity, and you might be able to walk away feeling not too bad after that. I hope you understand that.
Some people can't help being energy leeches. It's
Yeah.
it's just what they do. If they're always down all the time, the only thing that you can do is project how you're feeling. So you're just going to keep unloading it. That's why we scream and shout and kick as humans. That's what we do. That's why we cry. It's everything. You just sometimes want to stand in this field and yell. That's why.
Yeah. Right, we're going to move on now to number 4, Amy.
Number 4 is, when was a specific moment in your life when you realised that the paranormal existed, was a thing?
Well, that's a tough one. Probably as a child. Yeah, probably as a child, I would say. A couple of experiences. and then as a teenager, some more experiences, and I was fairly lucky because as a sort of 10, 11, 12-year-old, my mother and my sister used to go to a spiritualist church. So I was always dragged up there on a Saturday and sometimes on a Sunday as well. So I'd always had that connection to the sort of spirit in that way. And I used to sit there and I'd listen to mediums on the stage or whatever as a kid, thinking I could do better than that. You know, I could do better than that. I know I can do this. You know, I know I can do this. And so, and there's a couple of things can happen to people that change the way they are. Now, one was when I was about 8, I nearly drowned. Okay, in fact, if it wasn't for another person, I would have drowned. Okay, and it took a long while to get me to come round and whatever, but things like that can actually alter how your brain works. And then 26 years ago, I was seriously ill again with viral meningitis, and I was in a coma for 5 days, and I can't, it would take a whole video to talk about that, but when I came out of that, I felt that I'd been through some sort of spiritual thing. So there was that as well, with the child stuff, the drain and that. It was like a combination of everything coming together, and that's how I knew.
To the paranormal.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I've always been interested in the paranormal. There's no doubt about it. Even as a child, as a teenager, and whatever. And I've always took interest in the paranormal, and I've always believed in the paranormal. I've had no dates about that whatsoever, and that's all I can say on that one, really.
So for me, I'd experienced stuff when I was younger. I've talked about it in another video. I'll put a little linky doodah up here. But yeah, weird stuff like seeing shadow creatures crawl across the ceiling. Sometimes my dog would just stare randomly at a wall. I know they do that a lot, but I was just sort of like, what is he looking at? Is there something else I'm not seeing? And then growing up around Andrew, it was a lot of sort of spiritual stuff in the background. Like I kind of just absorbed it into my brain, and then it was probably when I was about 13 or so. I think I was having a conversation with you, and I mentioned the crawly thing on the ceiling, and it was when you went, "Oh yeah, that," and I was like, "What do you mean? Oh yeah, that? What do you mean?" And then it was when you said to me that you'd seen it so many times, and that house was in fact haunted, and I was like,
yeah.
Wow, I was seeing spirits. Like that actually was paranormal.
It was.
So that was mine was quite a big, like, you're dropped in there. So thanks for that one.
It's okay. I just confirmed what you see, because we used to see it all the time.
Yeah.
So I think with Amy, she's on a bit of a journey, and her journey has started, and a lot of people don't see that journey. The only person who runs that journey for you is spirit.
Right.
And if they pick you or they want you, they will send you down that track. And a lot of people go, "Oh, I'd like to do that, I'd like to do that." It's not up to you. It's not up to me, it's not up to Amy. It's up to spirit. When spirit wants you to do this or to do that, they will guide you down the path, and you'll find that you will be doing what they want. They run the show. Yeah. Right, we go on to our last question, which is number 5, Amy.
Yep.
Far
and that
away.
is, why do some spirits hang around in graveyards and not sort of where they died? Why do they decide to hang out by their grave? Why are they there?
Okay. It always amazes me when you go somewhere like a dungeon and there's a ghost in the dungeon. Why would you in the afterlife hang around in a dungeon? Why would you hang around in an old wood, or something like that, old woods or something like that?
Yeah.
I can see why spirits could be, or energy could be trapped to a battlefield or something like that. But why would a ghost hang around in a graveyard by its grave, or walk around the graveyard? Right. Right. This is quite tough.
Mm.
If you think about it, when that person passed over, there was something happened to stop them going to the light. Okay?
Right.
Something happened. It could be a multitude of things, but they didn't go to the light. They didn't pass over. Okay? Now, sometimes that person will stay in the vicinity of where they passed. They'll stay in a house and haunt the house. Okay? Some spirits leave the vocation and just wander the earth, and they're everywhere. Right? But somebody will have an attachment to their body and keep with their body, and when the body is buried, they stay there. Now, they don't leave that graveyard as such. They don't wander off. But you've got to remember, probably half don't know they're dead, half do. And you've seen what we've done where we pass people over who've been attached to a graveyard. Worcester Church is one.
Yep.
And we interacted with a spirit that was stuck in that graveyard, and we sent her over. She's no longer there now, she's gone. And you'd probably find around all these different churchyards, graveyards, everything, there's spirits stuck there and can't move on, which is sad really. So that is why they're stuck there. They're stuck with their body, they never passed over. Some of them want to pass over, some of them don't want to pass over because of what they've done on this earth, or what they think is going to be awaiting for them in spirit, or some have got stuff that is not being resolved, like a murder, or some people just don't want to go. They love this life so much, they stay with it and don't go to the light. But most people who land up in graveyards, something's happened, they haven't gone over, and they've followed their body to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not, you don't go into a graveyard and there's hundreds of ghosts lined up to talk to you. They don't all just sort of hang around in a queue and wait to be on camera. But it's not empty either. Sometimes it is, but usually it's not completely empty. There'll be one or two that are still hanging around for whatever their reason is, and I guess you don't really know unless you ask them.
If you think about it, if you take, is that Little Cornard?
Little Cornard, where we went the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you think about it, now we had an investigation over there. It's the third time we've been there, and we asked how many spirits of that, came up with 3. Now we've been there 3 times and we spoke to 3 spirits.
Yes, that is true.
We have spoke to 3 spirits. If there's any more, I don't know, but they are with that graveyard. 2 of those spirits, we've asked if they want to be sent over, and they don't. They're happy there. So it's not up to us to send them over. If they'd have reached out and said, yeah, please, we would have done it. So they're happy there, they're happy to be there, and they're quite happy with their lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the paranormal in general, I guess I believe in the paranormal because, like, normally I'm 100% science. Like, I will follow science, like, to the grave. But to me, if science can't explain something, if it's trying so hard to explain it and it can't, I'm going to believe the opposite, because surely it has to be paranormal if it's not scientific. By definition, surely then it's paranormal.
Well, I think we've said this before, Amy, when something can't be explained scientifically, it becomes frightening.
Yeah.
And that's why the paranormal's frightening. Because
Yeah.
it can't be explained. Our logical minds can't work out the paranormal. But it's there. Definitely there. 100%.
They can only prove what it isn't. Science can only prove what spirits aren't. They can't prove what they are, because I feel like it's so separate from science. Your spirit and your soul and who you are is not scientific, but physically it's science. Physically we are scientific, but I don't think spiritually we're scientific at all. So
No, I don't think so. And I think even, say if you filmed the best ghost video ever, it would still be debunked. Even if you didn't cheat or whatever, you caught a ghost, blah, blah, blah. And you've seen online some really good videos of ghosts but they get debunked. They've played with the film. They've done this. They've put this on. They've put that on, and because it's not got any better now, because you can do so much with editing suites with films, you can put ghosts on there, and now they're going to poo-poo it even more. So yeah, so
And then, even if there's nothing else to explain it, people will fall back on, oh, it's pareidolia. It's just because you want to see a spirit. It's because you want to see a face in that thing. And it's like, at what point, do you leave it open to interpretation? Like, if you can't explain it, it then is paranormal. It's not normal. It's different to being normal if you can't explain it.
vast subject, and we could go on about it all night. But
Yeah.
yeah. So, is that it, Amy?
Yes, and if you would like any more Q&A videos, or even if you want some spiritual rants, I'm sure we could go on some rants about certain things. That would be great. We could do that. At some point soon we want to try and figure out doing a live stream, but I don't know what you guys would want us to live stream about, so just let us know. Tell us in the comments. And thank you also. We hit 100 subscribers.
Oh yeah, we did.
We hit 100
Yes.
subscribers.
Yes, 100 subscribers.
We
Well,
did.
we're over that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
thanks, guys.
big thumbs up.
Thank you.
Yeah, big thumbs up.
Yeah, and we see all you guys who comment regularly, and thank you very much for supporting us.
Yeah,
we,
it's
we
always
send some spooky love your way.
yeah, it's always a pleasure when people
Yeah.
comment. We're not the quickest repliers
No.
because of our lifestyle of everything else, but we always reply. Even if it takes a week, we will always reply. We
Yeah.
never let one go. So yeah. So is that it, Amos?
I do believe so.
Okay, with that, it's goodbye from
Suffolk Amy.
Suffolk Andy and
Stay
Spooky! Is there anybody else here?
Mary, was that you?
If there's anybody here from the spirit world who'd like to talk to us, we come with love and peace.
A lot of people who are alive at the moment constantly ask the question of, is there life after death? Do you know the answer to that?